Started, everyone.
Definitely, sounds like a plan. Thank you for driving the slides today, Scott. So good morning, everyone. I really want to say thank you for joining us on the first of our Mimecast Reseller Partner Focus webinars. So my name is Anthony Rao. I'm the ChiliSoft Mimecast Business Manager, and joining me to present today is Scott Jenner, Lead Mimecast Sales Engineer. So in my part of the presentation today, I'll be launching the 2025 Mimecast Presidents Club, which is the reseller partner focused sales incentive program, which will be running across 25 through to 26. I'll introduce you to the Presidents Club program, how you can earn points on the leaderboard, and also the 2025 Mimecast product focused bonus points, which will be available throughout the program. And what everyone wants to know, of course, what can be won at the end of the program. I'll then hand over the mic over to Scott, and he will be highlighting the issues organizations face with data loss caused by employees and the challenges that they face addressing these issues with the traditional DLP, CASB, and UEBA solutions. Scott will then showcase Mimecast's superior approach to see and stop data loss from Incydrs through the risk and detection and response control features of Incydr, which is Mimecast's Incydr risk management solution. So today we'll also have Lizelle Hughes, Mimecast's ANZ partner leader, and Ashton Russell, ChiliSoft's marketing manager, with us on the session. So if you do have any questions that you'd like answered, please just add these into the chat, and we'll endeavour to get these answered at the end of the presentation. We should have a couple of minutes there. And Scott, if you'd be so kind to flick to the next slide. So I am really thrilled to introduce something truly special for the New Zealand and Fijian partners, and this is the 2025 Mimecast Presidents Club. We celebrated our top performers with an unforgettable Queenstown escape with gondola views, fine dining, jet boat thrills, and a stunning Henny Wide. After the huge success of last year's event, we're bringing it back through this elite recognition program to celebrate our top performing Mimecast partners. And this time round, we are taking it up a notch. This isn't just a sales competition, it's a celebration of proven achievement mixed with adrenaline and camaraderie. Getting on the board is simple. With every accepted Mimecast deal registration, deal reg expansion, or you close, you can earn points. And we just want to say, the bigger the deal, the more points that you score. And if we could go to the next slide, please, Scott. So here's how the points work. So participants earn points based on deal activity and customer size. So for SMB customers, and this covers 1 to 249 seats, a closed new logo and upsell deals will earn 6 points each. Deal registrations, deal reg expansions, and upsell earn 3 points. For the commercial 250 to 999 seats, closed new logo and upsell deal earns 30 points and 10 points respectively. Deal registrations 15 points, and deal reg expansions or upsell will earn you 5 points. For enterprise, so this is 1,000 plus seats, closed new logo and upsell deals will earn you 20 points and 7 points respectively. Deal registrations will earn you 10 points, and deal reg expansions or upsell will earn you 6 points. Plus, bonus points are up for grabs through targeted Mimecast product opportunities, activities like today's webinars, events, and also completing training. And you just got to keep in mind, just one deal registration gets you into the competition. We'll go to the next slide, please, Scott. So in 2025, Mimecast is advancing its commitment to human and insider risk management through powerful solutions like Incydr and Engage. Incydr helps organizations detect and respond to insider threats by monitoring file movement and user behavior, while Engage drives security awareness and behavioral change through risk scoring and personalized interventions and training. We're raising the stakes for our partners in the 2025 Presidents Club by offering massive point advantages for securing Incydr and Engage deals, and also registering new opportunities. For any commercial or enterprise Incydr deal activity, we're offering 3 to 4 times points multipliers to the opportunities. For all engaged deal registrations, close new logo, deal reg expansion, and upsell close, partners will earn an additional 1 to 4 points on top of the existing points for the opportunity activity. This year, Incydr and Engage opportunities mean more recognition, more rewards, and a faster path to the top of the 2025 Presidents Club leaderboard. Next slide, please, Scott. And what is in store for the hardest working New Zealand and Fijian Mimecast partner across 2025 and 2026? Well, the top 10 elite winners will join the grand prize winner in Queenstown in August to September 2026 for a premium winter experience. Highlights of the experience will include luxury dining, jet boating, clay target shooting, off-road adventures, and wine tasting. These 10 winners will have earned their place through outstanding performance in deal registrations, expansions, and engagements with Mimecast initiatives. Those who climb the highest will also get first choice in several other activities that we have arranged. The President's Grand Prize is awarded to the top Mimecast performer and features an exclusive alpine adventure in Queenstown. The winner will enjoy a scenic helicopter flight over iconic landscapes like the Remarkables and the Nevis River Valley, followed by a thrilling snowmobile expedition across the remote Govi Plateau. This unforgettable experience combines adrenaline, breathtaking views, and luxury. So this is really celebrating Mimecast sales excellence at the highest level. And we're looking forward to everyone on the call and all other Mimecast partners on getting those points added to the leaderboard. And now I'm going to hand over the presentation over to Scott, and he's going to fill you in on the latest of Mimecast Incydr.
Perfect, thanks, Anthony. So in terms of the basic use cases that the Mimecast Incydr solution is trying to solve for, you have the traditional sort of DLP use cases around protecting customer data, protecting, departing employees, trying to steal information from the organization, basic cloud visibility in terms of understanding what solutions are being used inside of an organization. But then you have some other really sort of more unique, more challenging use cases around things like source code protection and IP theft and shadow sort of Gen AI and what's being used there and how it's being used. Now, you're probably looking at these use cases and going, okay, well, Mimecast has got a new DLP solution. And that's not 100% true. The Mimecast Incydr solution is basically taking the best of 3 different solutions. So it's like a hybrid solution between DLP, CASB, and UEBA. Now, in doing that, we're taking some of the best functionality from those areas and we're trying to give our customers as much visibility as possible in terms of their insider risk, data visibility, how data is moving inside their organization, what different systems are being used inside the organization. Now, within the Mimecast Incydr solution, one of the biggest differentiators that we offer is the way that we are actually analyzing your data. The approach that we have within the Incydr solution is to go, let's look at a full data event and let's focus on 4 key areas of that data movement, of that data event. So we're looking at the source of the data. So where is the data coming from? We're looking at what is the destination of that data. We're then also looking at what is the context of the data itself and what is the context of the person that's moving that data. Now, because of this approach and because of this prism analysis that we've developed in the back end of the solution, this solution does not require any data classifications or any granular high-lift policy creation. Now, for those of you today that have any sort of experience or exposure into today's traditional DLP, CASB-based solutions, they are good solutions, but they take a long time to get up and running, a long time to understand how data is moving, etc. So what ends up often happening is organizations are spending years possibly defining and classifying their data and understanding what the different data types are in their organization. And often what happens is when they get to the end of that project, a lot of their data still hasn't been classified. I've spoken to many organizations where I go, how far through your data classification project are you? And they go, well, we spent the last year doing it, but we're not sure how much of our data is classified. So that can create a real problem when trying to do these DLP projects. Another big issue is on the other side of that, organizations then have to go, okay, I've done what I think is most of my data classification. I now need to build out various policies to look for how this data is moving in my organization. So I need to build a policy to say, I want to look for data moving from Salesforce to Yahoo. I build another policy to say, I want to see if any of my GitHub information is going to ChatGPT. And once again, that can be a lengthy project. You're building out all of these policies to try get any kind of visibility into your organization. Now, other than the fact that trying to build out those data classifications and policies, etc., can take a really long time and requires a lot of knowledge and expertise to do that, a lot of the time you end up building up stuff to only protect the risk that you know. So trying to build policies and classifications around data that you don't have visibility into, that you don't understand. And there's probably a huge amount of data moving in your organization that you're just not simply aware of. So with that in mind, you don't know what you don't know when it comes to data visibility and insider risk. So the focus of our solution is, rather than relying on you to know everything about your data and build out those policies yourself, we're focusing on giving you full visibility out of the solution as quickly as possible without you having to build out all those data classification, build out all the policies. So we've seen customers actually get the solution up and running in a couple of days, and by day 3, they have full visibility in terms of how data is moving inside their organization, what systems are being used from a destination and source perspective, which are my high-risk users that are moving this data, etc. And that visibility can really be a game changer when you're talking about data behavior inside a risk. Now, it's great to have that visibility, but it's also very important to be able to take action off of these data events, also off of this data visibility. So built into the solution, we have different ways of taking action on the different data events that are taking place that the solution has highlighted. So if you have sort of low risk data events that are taking place, you could say, well, instead of trying to block this device or taking severe actions, let's rather send that user automated instructional videos. So let's say they're a new starter, they've taken data and they've put it into Google Drive. Maybe they didn't know that the corporate environment was actually OneDrive. So as something like that happens, you can actually send an automated notification to that user to say, we see you've moved data to Google Drive. That's not the corporate environment. Rather use OneDrive. So you're giving them the chance to actually change their behavior rather than trying to prevent them from doing their work. Now, of course, that's for the more sort of basic level sort of incident or event. But if it gets far more severe and there's some really sort of malicious stuff taking place, maybe you've got a departing employee that's taking data from GitHub or taking customer data from Salesforce or whatever it might be, for something more severe like that, you want to be able to take more of a sort of hard action on that. And this solution has various integrations into CrowdStrike, Okta, SentinelOne, etc., that allow us to take far more severe actions, like using the integration with CrowdStrike and SentinelOne to actually lock down the device or prevent them from plugging in a USB. With the Okta and Entra ones, we can say, let's make this person reset their 2FA, let's lock them out of the network, etc. So we've got a wide range of different actions. Some are automated, some are manual, that you can do with the solution based on the data event that we've highlighted to you. Now, for those techies out there that like to understand, how the solution actually works from a technology perspective, ultimately, there's a few things, 3 or 4 things that you would need to do to get the solution up and running. The first thing is you would deploy the agents to all your devices, so Mac, Linux, Windows, etc. We've got agents that will work across all those different devices. In addition to deploying the agents, we would also do some cloud connectors. So we would do a cloud connector into your Microsoft environment, your Google environment, Salesforce, GitHub, etc. Now we do that to be able to get additional visibility into what's going on in those environments for your users. So the agent will be able to say to us, well, Scott Jenner has logged into Salesforce, but then with the cloud connector into Salesforce, we'll be able to say Scott Jenner has gone and downloaded this report with this detail inside that contains this customer information, etc. So that cloud connector gives us that additional visibility. Then in addition to that, we have integrations into identity access management systems, HR systems, for us to be able to better understand the user that's moving this data. So we could plug into things like Workday, Bamboo HR, Entra, to understand, is this user a contractor, a departing employee, a new starter, an executive with access to many systems? And based on that category of that user, we will actually analyze their data behavior in a different way. And then at the bottom of the screen, you can see we, of course, have the integrations that I mentioned. Integration into CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Microsoft environments, Okta, etc., that allow us to take actions on the different data movements. Now, to get the solution up and running, it's literally that. You would deploy the cloud connector, deploy the agents, set up the value-add integrations, define which are your trusted environments. So this is my corporate OneDrive, my corporate GitHub, etc. And that's it. The solution is up and running. Like I said, no classifications, no policies, etc. needed. So you can be up and running with this tool in a matter of 1 or 2 days. Great. So I've taken you through a sort of overview of the solution. I do have about an 8-minute demo that I'll play for you. And then at the end of that demo, we'll open up for any questions that you have on the solution, any specific use cases, stuff like that. Welcome to this Mimecast Incydr demonstration. I'm going to take you through a high-level overview in terms of the solution capabilities. Once you've implemented the solution, which on a high level involves rolling out various agents to your devices, doing some cloud connectors to your internal systems, things like Salesforce, OneDrive, Microsoft environments, so that we can get additional visibilities in those environments, and connecting some integrations into tools like Workday, etc., which allows us to get more detail on users' categorization and the part of employee. The last thing you would then need to do is set up your trusted environments. So stating which of your environments is actually your corporate environment. So this is my corporate OneDrive, this is my corporate GitHub, this is my corporate Microsoft environment. So we know those are the corporate environments to sort of keep an eye on. Then once that's up and running, you're going to start getting really good visibility and value from the solution in terms of how data is actually moving in your organization. So as you can see down here, I can very quickly start to see some of the sort of key data movements, where data is being pulled from, where's data going to. Now, the very important thing of this is a lot of this visibility, or just about all of this visibility, you're going to get without having to have data classifications and sort of really granular policies in place. So you don't need to have a full sort of insight into your data before starting to see visibility and value with the solution. As an example, you see very quickly over here, there's a bunch of data going from Dropbox to Perplexity. I did not set up a policy to say, I want to see if any data goes to Perplexity. This solution is going to immediately start showing me that. And with that, I can start getting really good granular detail about what's actually happening in the organization from a sort of data visibility perspective. If I scroll further down, I can start getting a lot more granular detail in terms of, what is the source of data that's moving within my organization, whether it's coming from Google Drive, Office 365, GitHub, Dropbox, Workday, etc. Now, with a lot of our customers that we set this up for, often there are things in this list that they've never heard of and they didn't realize were being used inside their organization. And it's a similar story for destination and sort of file details. So this destination gives you information around where is the data actually going. Is it going to removable media? Is it going to GitHub, to GoFile, to Google Drive, to AI tools? Same sort of story for the file information. What sort of documents or files are actually leaving my organization? So having insights into that allows an organization to make sort of valuable changes around their processes and their visibility into what's actually happening. Now, it's great to have this visibility, but you are also going to need to come in and start looking at the various sort of alerting that takes place in the tool to take action on any of these sort of critical data movements that are happening within the organization. Now, of course, I can go into my alerts and I can start looking at all the different alert types based on the data movement. Now, once again, a lot of this is done by the sort of intelligence in the solution, looking at, where's data coming from, where is data going to, what is the context of my data, what is the context of the user, doing the combination of those 4 elements and assigning scores to the different elements will allow us to then identify, well, which is critical data movement and which is sort of moderate, low risk data movement. And that's what's going to get pulled up into this alerting environment. So I can very quickly start seeing, what are my critical data movements, what are these different alerts that I need to take action on, and you can start very clearly start to see information that's being moved from departing employees. What is that information? Where is that information going to, etc. Now, of course, I can click on any of these and I can start seeing a lot more detail around what is the data, who is the user, where is it moved from and to, what is the history of that document, etc.
Now, this is great for you to go through your alerts, analyze your alerts, and take action on those. Now, of course, you can also do your own sort of investigation. So if I want to come into my forensic search and I want to specifically look for certain data movements, of course, you can do that. So let's just say, as an example, I want to look for anything that's come from Salesforce. I can do that. So I can very quickly say, what's my source category over the last day, pick search, and now I can say, oh, let's expand that. Let's look at the last 30 days. I can now very quickly see what sort of data is moving from my Salesforce environment. Is any of that data being flagged as a sort of critical data movements, and what sort of actions can I take with this? So I can see over here, there's a few critical data movements. I can very quickly see, this Jim Harper has acquired stuff from Salesforce, he's a departing employee, he's part of our enterprise sales team. So this might be something that needs a little bit more attention. So I can go to here and I can start drilling down into that data a little bit more. So I can very quickly see he's moving this data to Yahoo. I can see once again some characteristics about this user, the fact that he's in enterprise sales, he's been flagged as a flight risk. I can actually see that the document that's being moved is saying that it's named as a personal budget document. It seems a little bit odd from Salesforce. If I wanted to, I could, of course, download this document and see exactly what's in that document. And here I can see the additional details of what actually been acquired, where is it going to, etc. And like I said, you can, of course, download the document, but I can also see the history of that document. So if you let a second to load, you'll actually be able to see when they downloaded it, where they downloaded it from, what changes did they make to the document, and where did they actually send that document to. So I can very quickly see it's been taken from Salesforce. The name of the document when it was taken from Salesforce was actually new context and account report. So the fact that this is a departing employee in our sales team means he's probably trying to get a list of the customers to take to the competitor or wherever he might be going. And I can also see here that he's actually tried to change, well, he's changed the file name, the personal budget, and I'm guessing he's done that to actually help him exfiltrate that document out of the organization, hoping that nothing will be flagged because this is just going to be seen as a personal budget, and he sent it to his personal Yahoo environment. So that gives you really good visibility of what's actually going on here. Now, of course, from here, I could add this to a case. So if I wanted to create an HR case or something around this, I can add all of these details to a case for you to be able to take action on at a later stage. I can also take action on this around, I could send this person instructor videos around how to manage his data as a departing employee. Or I can even take it a step further and say, I actually want to lock down this device using a CrowdStrike integration or a Sentinel-1 integration. Or using the Entra and Okta integration, I can say, well, let's lock out this user from certain environments. So you can take quite drastic actions based on how severe this actually is. So that's just a quick overview of the solution. There are obviously a whole bunch of other areas I could take you through, but that gives you a taste of the sort of detail that we do.
Great. Thanks very much. And that's the Mimecast Incydr solution. Ant, I don't know if there's been any questions that have come through in the chat that we can answer, or if any of you have any questions now you want to quickly put into that chat and we can help with.
Oh, not currently. We've got a couple of hellos, but yeah, no, we definitely welcome welcome any questions. I know we've got a couple of partners on the call which are looking into Incydr as we speak for their customers. So if there is anything anyone would like to raise, more than happy to try and answer that on the call. No, we're looking pretty quiet on the question front.
Perfect. Great. I guess the last thing I would I guess mention with this is when you're going to speaking to your customers, don't be scared to dive into a little bit around what they're doing around their data. And instead of purely focusing on the word DLP, try focus around what is your insider risk approach. So how are you getting visibility into your data? How are you understanding how is your data moving? I've spoken to a number of customers that have been 1 or 2 years into an insider risk or DLP project and have realized that they've gone in the wrong direction. So don't be scared to speak to people who have started DLP projects and maybe have acquired a license for a year. It's not unusual for them to make a decision to go in another direction because they've learned that these solutions are a massive lift, are a huge amount of admin, and that's possibly something they didn't know when they initially signed the contract. Perfect.
Cool. And if there have been any questions which have sort of been piqued over the course of the demonstration by Scott, and of course his video, please do feel free to reach out to us. We can work with Chilisoft, so we can work with Mimecast on getting any of those questions answered for you, and any more additional information on the Incydr solution that you need to go put that in front of your customers if they do have a DLP opportunity available. Well, I think with that, Ashton, we may be done for the day.
Yeah, fantastic. We do have one question. Scott, assume we can give end user customers access into their portal, or has that been answered?
Are you asking in terms of doing a POC, or are you saying in terms of admins being able to analyze the data? What exactly do you mean?
Good question. Probably in terms of POC, wouldn't it be?
So we can do POCs with the solution, no problem. It's actually a very good solution to POC because you get that visibility nice and early. In terms of admins and the data that they can get access to, that can also be controlled around roles. So if you want admins to, obviously there's certain admins that can have full access to data visibility, that's possible. Or an admin who can basically see just high-level data movements and critical alerts, etc. So we do have role-based access in the solution as well. So not sure exactly what your question was, but hopefully that answered both directions.
I think that may have covered the question there, Scott. So I think it would have been with role-based access, so that you can have an admin access, but if you do want to be able to give sort of team members within the organization, maybe with a view only sort of views to particular data, then that would be possible.
There isn't specific data ranges that you can say, like, I only want to give this user access to see Salesforce data. You can't do that, but you can limit how much of all the data that they can see.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully, Scott, that answered your question.
Yeah, perfect. Looks like they are all answered.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for attending today's session. And again, please, any questions, please do reach out. I'm more than happy to help.
Thanks, everyone.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.